Those struggling or forgetting to pay their power bill may have their electricity cut in the city of Tshwane. The metro has to recoup more than R1 billion from consumers, including government departments. An operation is underway today, and Barry Bateman's tagging along. He's live with us now. Barry, thanks for joining us. So, do we know exactly how much is owed and by who?
Yeah, good morning. It's far more than a 1 billion rand. It's upward of 20 billion rand that is owed to the city of Tshwane. The focus this week on the disconnection operations will be big businesses, but I can tell you that about 1.2 billion rand of that owed is government departments and foreign missions. But we're finding out today who the big defaulters are. In this instance, we're at a shopping centre in Clubview, Centurion, not one of the big ones, but certainly money owed. They owe about 450,000 rand in unpaid water. We've just come from a business not far from here. They were owing about 4 million rand in unpaid electricity. Now, the criteria for cutting them off, and this is perhaps the important part, the city is not just pouncing on people that are unaware. We're looking at companies and organizations where they have been given notice that they are in arrears, and they've gone through the administrative process to be warned that they're in arrears, but they made no effort to come to some kind of terms with the municipality, because that, of course, is an option. You can settle or you can come to a payment term, and none of those were done. So that's why we are here today. The city essentially just turning the screws on defaulters. And they want to make the point that, because often consumers who get cut off at home say, you're cutting me off for a few thousand rand, what about big business? Well, here they are out at big business to cut them off.
Do you have any idea, Barry, how some of these institutions, these big institutions, wound up with such huge bills?
Yeah, it is certainly worrying. We don't have an answer. I'm going to be meeting with the city manager a little later. And what we understand is that a lot of the debts are historical. So we're looking at debts that come from the previous administration, where it was simply allowed to grow to the point that we're sitting upward of 20 billion rand. Well, this is the city, the new administration, trying to do what they can to certainly recover some of that. The city is struggling. We know it. We've heard it from them before. Eskom coming out a couple of weeks ago saying that even the City of Tshwane owes them money. So the city needs to be able to recoup what is owed, and it's doing it through what they call an aggressive campaign.
Barry, you spoke about how the city has gone through the process of approaching those who owe it money and trying to warn them of the cuts that are imminent. And even though they've gone through that process, are businesses and institutions going to take this lying down?
You know, I was speaking to the building managers at the previous place we were at. They declined to go on the record, but I asked them, do you believe that what's happening here is unfair? And they did. They believe it was unfair. But you speak to the city and they say, we can't just rock up here and cut power. There is an administrative process that they have to go through. And this particular case at the previous building, they were slapped with an additional 620,000 rand fine because there had been tampering on the electricity box. So, you know, they certainly can take it forward, but the city's standing firm. They're going after the people whom they say have not made those required representations, if you will, to come to terms with the city and pay off the debt.
I can understand, Barry, maybe how, say, a shopping mall may not have paid its bills because, you know, COVID hit and things were at a standstill for a long time. But any idea why government departments and foreign missions, for example, wouldn't have paid their bills?
You know, we're going to have an opportunity to speak to them, but you're quite right. While the money might have dried up for a business, government continues to leech the taxes from its citizens and squandering it. We know quite well where a lot of this money goes instead of paying it to the municipalities for the services that they use. So we're certainly going to be looking for those answers a little bit later.